Gillian, can't you remember anything at all? Didn't Jamie say something that implied you were somehow connected to the Snatchers?
Nothing. I can't remember a damn thing. Metal, I want you to tell me everything you know about me. Why was I sent to Junker headquarters? Where did I come from?
Gillian.
Metal, the chief's dead. Tell me everything you know about me.
Well, you see...
Metal!
All right. With the chief gone, you are the highest-ranking officer here.
You knew all along?
Of course.
Where were we rescued from?
3 years ago, you and Jamie were taken into protective custody in the Siberian Neutral Zone by the 17th Siberian Investigative Force.
So from Russia.
More precisely, you were discovered in cryogenic sleep pods in an underground bunker near Moscow.
The catastrophe.
Cryogenic sleep pods? You mean they were frozen?
This is a photograph of the bunker.
We were trapped in time.
There is no record of when you were placed there. In addition, the third pod was empty at the time you were discovered.
There were 3 pods?
You were revived and taken into custody by the army. Apparently, as a result of the extended sleep, both of you suffered from complete amnesia. However, another theory suggests your memories may have been intentionally erased. This is the only piece of evidence found at the site.
That's Harry's picture, from when he was a kid.
I kind of had a feeling like they were going to be Harry's parents.
That's correct. Harry is Gillian and Jamie's son. It's been confirmed by DNA tests.
Harry? Harry was my son?
That's a little awkward.
Using the information gained from the photo, it was established that you are Gillian Seed, and your wife, Jamie Lorraine. Both of you are American citizens, born in the late 1960s.
The 1960s?
In addition, both of you vanished without a trace in 1989.
The
There
Cold
is no other
War.
information available about you after that.
1989?
Yes, you come from a world that's been gone for 50 years.
But what does that have to do with the Snatchers?
When the 17th Special Investigative Force was bringing the two of you out, there was an accident. Though the two of you were all right, most of the 17th was killed. One of them was a Snatcher. Of course, before their departure, they all underwent thorough examinations. So, if one of them was snatched...
It had to be somewhere in Siberia, right?
That's correct. And in order to attempt to determine the origin of the Snatcher, as well as your true identities, you were assigned to Junker headquarters. The hope was that exposure to the Snatchers would help you regain your memories.
Moscow? 50 years ago?
Almost everyone who was in Moscow at the time was killed in the catastrophe.
So Gillian and Jamie are the only living witnesses?
Harry. Harry was my son. Did he know?
No, it was highly classified information. He was never told.
I was never able to do anything for him.
Wait a minute, Gillian. Didn't Jamie say something about taking a boy hostage?
That's right. They must know about Harry and are using him to threaten her.
We have to find their headquarters quickly.
We've only got 3 hours.
Strange?
Gillian, let's think this all through again. We may get some kind of a hint out of it.
You're right. There may be some clue in the way they're operating.
All right, let's go over what we know about them.
First of all, what's the Snatcher's weak point? Their head. Or EV rays. This is the Snatcher's weak point? That's correct. Their weak point is their defective artificial skin. Long-term exposure to ultraviolet rays causes mutations in the melanocytes in the stratum basal, whatever, of their skin, which become cancerous. Specifically, long ultraviolet rays in the 250 to 350 nanometer range is responsible for causing the cancer. That's right. And that's the reason that they are so limited as to when they can be out. They can only come out at night in the middle of winter and wear sunscreen even then. That's the method that Jean used to figure out what the Snatchers were up to. How ironic. It turns out the destruction of the ozone layer actually had a benefit for us humans. That's a weird meta-commentary. That's right. Now, what method were they using to move and be able to avoid ultraviolet rays and sunlight at the same time? The black taxis, right? This is the method of movement that the Snatchers were using? Are you sure? Think very carefully. That can't be it. Oh, I would have said just subway tunnels, not an underpass. To me, is something different. That's right. They were using the abandoned tunnels of the old tube-liner system to get from place to place. That's how they were able to move around without being noticed. Nielsen's apartment, the old factory, Queen's Hospital, all of their hideouts were connected by the tube liner. So maybe there was a tunnel under their main base as well. There's a good chance of that. I mean, there would have to be. Next, what phenomenon was always observed at any location where Snatchers appeared, including the underground tunnels? Hiccup. This is the phenomenon you're talking about. That's right. And what was the cause of the sneezing? Snow 9. You're correct. The sneezing was caused by the presence of the allergen Snow 9. Snow 9 is an artificial form of pollen developed by the military, and its presence is limited to certain regions. They were using it to interfere with radio transmissions and keep people away. They probably were producing it intentionally themselves. The only regions of the city where Snow 9 is still present are areas around the Ina River. It has been cleared out of other areas because of the danger it presents. So that means their base must be somewhere near the Ina River, right? That is a fair conclusion. They are probably somewhere near the Ina River protected by the Snow 9. Accessible to the tube liner and near the Ina River. And we must not forget that the 3 photographs that we found the Snatchers with, all of them related to the Soviet Union before the catastrophe. The map on the wall of Nielsen's apartment, the picture of the temple in the director's office at Queen's Hospital, and the photo of Red Square hidden in the chief's office. Why did the Snatchers keep pictures and memorabilia like this? Maybe they're homesick. Maybe that's where they come from. Homesick? It's serious, Mika. They're robots, you know. Let's analyze this a little closer. What city is related to all 3 of these pictures? New York. Oh, the city of Russia. This is a city they have in common. That's correct. It's Moscow. Moscow must be where they come from. That must be the basis of their programming. You might be right. Just as people have a hometown that is dear to them, their creators may have put a hometown into their programming. They use very advanced artificial intelligence systems, so they may have needed something like that to maintain their emotional balance. Yeah, they were born out of nothing, but they needed to give them some kind of image as an emotional base. So Moscow is their creator and their home, and the place that they found Jamie and I.
In other words, this homing instinct thing of theirs has led them to set up their headquarters in some place that reminds them of home, or their creator.
What part of this city is like Moscow?
Moscow's really cold, right? They get a lot of snow, don't they?
Sure.
Snow?
No snow has been recorded in Neo-Kobe in several years.
Well, then that's not it.
Wait, what about that pollen? That crystal bioengineered stuff, Snow 9?
Now that you mention it, wasn't it snowing on Jamie's video phone call?
That's right. Their hideout has to be somewhere close to the Ina River.
The Ina River flows for miles around here, Gillian. We could never search it all in time.
Gillian, let's look at a map of the areas investigated so far. This is an enlarged view of the southwest portion of the city around the Ina River.
All right.
This blue area is that in which Snow 9 is present. Now I'll superimpose a chart of the abandoned tube liner tunnels. From this we can establish those areas with Snow 9, which are accessible by subway tunnel.
Damn. Nice try, but it's still too large. We could never cover it in 3 hours.
Don't give up so fast, Gillian. What about that image of home thing we were talking about? Maybe there's some kind of geographic similarity. Maybe the same view can be seen or something.
I'll display a map of Moscow alongside.
What's this?
So it's gotta be in that little bend in the river where it splits off into 2.
Look, the rivers are exactly the same shape.
Or the rivers are exactly the same shape.
This is the Moscow River over here.
It looks like we're on the right track, Metal. Show us the location that Jamie and I were picked up from.
All right, right here.
Metal, before the catastrophe, what was at this location?
The headquarters for the entire Soviet Union, the Kremlin.
The Kremlin, yeah.
The Kremlin? That Snatcher said something about taking Jamie to their Kremlin.
So that's their headquarters.
Metal, what spot in Neo-Kobe would match up with the location of Moscow's Kremlin?
Outer heaven.
Calculating. This is the spot. It's presently occupied by an old church. It's
Or
rather
just an old
large,
church.
But reports indicate it's been abandoned for nearly 20 years.
And it's right in the middle of the Snow 9 and subway area.
Sounds right.
That's it! That's their headquarters, their new Kremlin.
Gillian, let's go!
Wait, Gillian. I want to go with you.
No, no,
Sorry,
you don't.
Mika.
Hey, I'm a junker too, you know.
I know, and you're a great one at that.
So take me with you then.
You head to the summit to warn the delegates. They haven't given up, you know.
The summit's in Kyoto. I'm not going to be the only one to run.
You've got to convince them not to use nukes on Neo Kobe.
We found their hideout. There's no need now to sink the whole island.
Yes, but...
It's a tough job. Can you do it?
Okay, Gillian. I'll do what I can.
Thanks. Thank you, Mika.
Don't say it, okay?
Let's go, Gillian.
Gillian?
Yes? What's wrong?
How about dinner sometime?
Dinner?
Yeah, you know, dinner.
Mika.
Not interested.
What?
I thought it would be nice, you know, to kick back, relax. It's Christmas after all.
Christmas, huh? I'll be back by then.
Sure, really should have played this game during
Have to hurry.
Christmas.
That's a promise, right? I heard you.
Yeah, okay. But I gotta go to church first.
I'll see you soon then.
Okay, Metal, let's go.
Take me to church, like that song that was popular last year. This is the last turbo cycle. Parking lot has become rather lonely. Spare turbo cycle has not been painted, but that does not affect its locomotive functions. It appears quite safe. It has not been tampered with. That's good. I do not read any motion. You and I are the only ones here. All right, let's get out of here. All right, now boarding the turbo cycle. Of course, I know the answer to that question.
I've input the map data on the Kremlin's locations. Lift off. Flight configuration, now gaining altitude.
Jamie, please be safe.
Gillian, please keep in mind that we're working with a strict time limit.
50-year debt in 3 hours. Snow!
Snow 9, to be specific. We've entered the Snow 9 region. Please put on your breathing filter. Direct inhalation is dangerous.
All right.
Radio transmissions will also be impossible from this point on. Understood?
Let's assault this church.
Conversion to hover configuration complete. Gillian, we've arrived.
Oh shit. Let's go back. Here we go. That's definitely a Russian architecture. That's definitely Russian architecture. Wow, now I know why they call it their Kremlin. It's a very old church. It bears quite a resemblance to St. Basil's Cathedral. No doubt they thought the same thing. The building is about 50 years old, but appears very well maintained. So where's the entrance? On the front side of the building. A sensor scan reveals that a tube liner tunnel passes directly underneath this area. Well, that's no surprise. Looks like we've got the right place.
All right, now opening the door.
What's wrong? Won't open?
I've scanned it, and it's not locked. It is probably rusted into place.
Not surprising. After all, our friends always go in and out through the basement.